How do I win 2 out of 3 games? I think everybody in the organization all of a sudden gets mobilized to like anybody who's adjacent to the major league preparation or anything that can affect the major league operation. How do I win playoff games right now? And that looks different ways. I think the best teams have been out ahead of this for weeks now, maybe even months. So if you feel like you're a playoff team, you start sending your scouts out to see the teams you're probably going to play. So you probably have pretty good coverage of all the teams that are about to make the playoffs. And some you cover them and they don't make the playoffs, but you're over covering to see because you don't know who you're going to match up with or in what setting you're going to match up with them in. Like, so it's the good teams have had teams on the Dodgers, on the Padres, on the Brewers, on the Mariners, on the Astros even that didn't make it, on the Mets. The teams that had a chance to make it have been their advanced scouting against them. And what's advanced scouting, right? We talk about all sorts of different buckets. Advanced is preparation scouting and game planning to beat your major league opponent. That's like a huge other layer of scouting that we often don't talk about.
Yep.
And it gets automated a lot too. Some teams believe in a more data-driven model as it pertains to game preparation. Other teams still heavily believe in like the eyes on the field, watching a team for 3 weeks, giving you an update and tendencies and things that might happen, who they might use in this situation, who they might use in that. But
before you move on, does your entire personnel department become advanced scouts at that point? Like when you shit to the playoffs, like, hey, we're kind of mobilizing everybody. This is what you're doing now. Is that kind of the shift that happens?
Yeah, I would say it's not the same across 30 organizations. I think they all treat it differently depending on the size of your staff. But if you have a big staff and all of a sudden you're in it, you're going to press every leverage. You're going to press every button that you can in terms of available resources. And a lot of teams have very talented scouts that know what they're looking at, that cover these teams as their expertise base. If you're a org scout, for example, they divvy up, you get 3 organizations, the other scout gets 3 organizations, and you're one of those experts, chances are you get called to comment on what you've seen. And they're putting you on their major league club right now.
Yeah.
Or you're monitoring the playoff rosters, like who's the fringe decisions on the roster in the playoffs get really interesting. I think Clayton Kershaw didn't make.
Bring it up. You took the
Clayton Kershaw didn't make the wild card roster, and you look at it and you're like, yeah, but you only have 13 and 13. So like,
but he's pitching well. That one was a head scratcher
well,
to me.
but it depends on how you view winning in the postseason.
Yeah,
right. It's like it is a little head scratcher-ish to me, but like I know they're the Dodgers, so I know they put a good process behind whatever they do, and their process led them to like, okay, maybe that the logic isn't the same for the next series or for the next kind of round of this.
Right.
But for this one, this is our win formula.
Yeah.
And they're bullpen heavy in the playoffs. They're not, let's let our starter go 9 innings or 7 innings. They're going to go to that pen. And in order for you to do that, you need to have a depth of a bullpen in order to do that. So they're prioritizing depth than their 5th starter, which is not, that makes sense. That tracks. It's unfortunate that it's Kershaw in his last year and it just works this way. But the back end of your roster, who you decide for positions 11, 12, and 13 on your position player side is just, I remember a guy named Terrence Gore?
Yes.
With the Royals?
Yes.
Terrence Gore would not play most of the year. All of a sudden in the playoffs, he became like an asset. Monte Harrison served a little bit of this role in 2020 where all of a sudden that base in the game becomes more important. That like, who do you put as a runner on first base in the 9th inning with 1 out that can score from first base on a double in the gap? Those things get factored in much more. The defense, who's going to close out the game defensively, especially at positions where over the course of 162, you're stuffing a bat over there, so you compromise defense. But then the playoffs come, you need to convert. Every out becomes just a premium. If you could put a dollar amount on what an out is worth in postseason baseball, I'd really want to know that answer because that's like, it's a lot of money.
Which is why, I mean, again, help a fan like myself understand this decision for a Kershaw.
Yeah,
because I understand comparing him to like a Yamamoto or whatever, but when you measure him against somebody who's in your pen, I mean, his arm's not going to be used after this year. I mean, it's not like this is someone you're trying to preserve anything. This is a straight, what can we get out of him now? And then he's done forever. You wouldn't prefer a guy with his experience and handedness and everything he brings to the table over just someone in your pen that has been on your bullpen all year?
All things being equal, yes, but all things are not equal. So like the way a reliever prepares to come into a game and the way a starter prepares over 5 days to get into a game are two completely different things, right? I learned this from Nick Martinez. I watch him try to navigate that, doing both. That's why I have such a premium on guys that can do that. That guy becomes really valuable in the postseason too. And I'll get to that when we talk about the Reds, but you start to go through it with the Dodgers and like, you just run out of numbers, right? Like but let me put a pin in that, or let me finish that preparation thought, because a reliever is in a rhythm of coming into a game whenever he needs to, getting hot in a quick amount of time. He's in a rhythm right now. Now you're asking a starter to enter a bullpen mentality rhythm when you don't know when he's going to come into a game. And maybe what he provides, which is some length, some starting pitching length, that works across 4 or 5 innings. But if you need a guy to come in for an inning or two and miss bats, I don't know that Kershaw's in that category of pitcher anymore. He's going to get you through a game, and he's going to be a crafty starter through a game.
Right.
And in a 7-game series, maybe you need that.
And lefty.
So there's a lefty matchup component too. But you look at their bullpen and like they're covered, man. They got good lefty. Like, is he in above Tanner Scott? Is he in above Vesia? Is he in above Trinan? Like, and then you see, it matters what Rōki Sasaki is, because Rōki Sasaki, while he is a starter, he is that 99 to 100 with like bat missing capability, and he can throw 2-3 innings. That's a different animal right now, ironically, because he had a bad start to his major league career. But he's a more valuable playoff asset in this moment for the role that he's going to be asked to do. And odds are that they've been preparing him to ramp back up as a reliever, not as a starter. So like, whereas Kershaw's been in a starter routine for a little while now, and I just want to spotlight that. It's not that easy to just go be a reliever when you don't know when you're going to come into the game. You don't know when you have to get hot. You need to know what you're doing. And that's why I don't think too many guys bounce back and forth through the course of the year. Very small select few.